Welcome to Spotlight in Business. I'm Tammy Defoe, and I would like you to meet Larisa Makuch. She is a master results coach and the founder of Abundance Academy, and she will be the guest speaker at GTApreneurs April 29th business networking event in Vaughan, one block north of Toronto. If you haven't got your ticket yet, please do now. Larissa is going to give us a lot of great tips here at the presentation time. She's a super amazing lady. But before that, let us get to know Larissa a little bit more. So thanks for coming on the show today, Larissa. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited to be here. It's been a while.
I know, right? And we haven't seen each other since before COVID. So this is,
Oh
I
my
mean, I know
gosh.
in person. So it's so excited. I told my group members, I'm like, hey, she was our guest speaker before and, she's going to be great. So, so much looking forward to having you that. But before we get there, tell us more about yourself.
So I'm Larisa Makuch. I'm CEO and abundance mentor at Abundance Academy, and we work with professionals who have beautiful lives on the outside, but on the inside, they're looking for more. They're holding themselves back. They have an interest in personal growth and getting better, and they do a lot of the good things, but there's still a piece of the pie missing. And I think so often, especially when it comes to these days, um, we we have the courage to go for certain things and then not to pursue other endeavors, perhaps because we've been kicked aside a little bit, or we've come across certain encounters that have caused us to shy away from really living our best lives. So we really do encourage people to radically expand their lives, to have the guts to go for what they truly want, not just what they think they should have, and live their lives by default instead of by design.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's so common and normal that we just kind of keep doing the same thing day after day, right? And we don't kind of step back and
Yeah.
say, am I happy? Right? Is this what I want to keep doing? We just figure, okay, well, we got to pay the bills, we got to keep things. So I think it's fantastic what you do. And how did you get into this coaching?
So I have always been a student of personal growth and development. From my very first career in personal finance, I had to start learning about how the mind worked, how people worked, how psychology worked, how sales worked, because I just didn't have the skills. I was really young in an industry serving people that were 2 and 3 times my age. Intellectually, I understood the product and the service, but I didn't understand how to connect with them. And so I started going to seminars and reading books. Podcasts came a little bit later, but a lot of audiobooks with the cassette tapes in the car back then. And it changed my life. It really helped me start building confidence within myself. And every other business along the way, I'd hired coaches, I'd worked with different kinds of professionals, and it was just such a part of my life as a resource. And when I was on maternity leave, I had a son. It took us a long time to have a child. So later in life, we had this beautiful child, and I, for the first time in my life, was on bed rest, which was not my idea of a good time. And I was going crazy, and I was driving my husband absolutely bonkers. And he's like, Larissa, you're not working with anyone right now. You need to go find someone, because I am not your person to fix this for you and or help you fix this problem. But you need to drive me less crazy and be happier yourself. And so I stumbled on the work of Bob Proctor, who was one of the world's leading authorities in prosperity thinking and growth. And I heard about him over 20 years prior in the financial services industry and just dismissed his work. But at this point, I think God must have said, like, Larissa, here's a sign, you got to pay attention. And I did. And within a week of starting his coaching program, it changed my life and it changed my thinking. And when an opportunity to become a consultant came up, I had every excuse not to do it. And my husband, he stood up, and we were sitting in a cafe, and he stood up and towered over me, which he doesn't normally do. He's not that kind of guy, but he's looking down on me and he's like, Larissa, if you keep doing what you're currently doing, are you going to get to where you need to be? And I was about to go back to work in a job I loved. I had a great title. I earned great income. I loved my clients. I loved my team. It was like everything I could have dreamt of on the surface, but down below, I couldn't say yes. And that terrified me because I didn't want to get into the coaching space. I didn't want to get into that world. For me at that point, it was like an eye roll. I'm like, oh, everyone's a coach. Everyone does this. And I didn't want to, but I had to. And my heart and my soul was calling me. So I started training Bob Proctor's materials with the Thinking into Results program and leading people to really start dramatically expanding their thinking so that they could expand their results. Because everything stems from here. If you want those results, it's got to come from here and from here. And then over the course of that next year, I did a lot of other training. I just felt like something was missing. So I started training in neurolinguistic programming, hypnotherapy, timeline therapy, and NLP results coaching. And I became a practitioner, master practitioner, and trainer of both hypnotherapy and NLP. So I got a lot of training and fell into this space. It chose me. And I absolutely love it. And I just feel so blessed that I can apply all of the things I've learned over the years to my clients and help them change their lives just like it helped change mine.
Fantastic. And so who are the people that can most benefit from your services?
I would say people that are ready for a change. Like if you love learning about yourself, learning about people, if you're a personal growth junkie, just like me, and you've done the work, but something is still missing, right? You've gone to the seminar, you've gone through the steps, but something is still missing. Those are the people that we really serve. It's not your first time cracking a self-help book or a business book or a strategy book. You've run the drills, but you can't put your finger on what's going on, and you're motivated, you want your life to be better, you have good things, but you know it could just be more juicy, more exciting, more compelling. And when you lay your head on the pillow, you don't want to be living in regret. You want to be fueled and excited and motivated by your day.
So what can people expect after they take your program, right? They're more motivated and inspired. Like how can that change their life?
Yeah. So I think our initially when we first started, we used to talk about like, yay, let's go earn more money. Yay, let's go on vacations. Let's do all these things, which are amazing because we've literally had clients double their income within 5 weeks of starting with us. I've had people that had zero financial resources be able to purchase a dream home within 2 months. I've had people purchase their dream cars. They've taken their families on the vacations. They've bought the fancy purses, they've done those material things, they've grown their businesses to new heights. One woman, she's like, she was in a bad mood, and then we had a 15-minute chat. She went off and made 5 sales in one afternoon, and she's like, that's not typical for my industry. So when we change the mind, we can change results. However, I think at a deeper level, what I've noticed over the years that's even more profound than the shiny stars, because those moments, they can keep happening, but those moments are fleeting, right? Like you do that and then it's done and then you're on to the next thing. And if you keep chasing the next thing, you're never at a state of satisfaction. And so I think ultimately at its core, we really help people gain like a deep level of acceptance for themselves and who they are. Like that inner confidence and that the guts to take those challenges and make those big leaps, to stop beating yourself up when things go wrong, because who's the most critical person of a successful person? Well, you are. And are you really acknowledging yourself for the actual successes or dismissing them and just throwing the baby out with the bathwater? And I think it's some of those fundamental things that when we step into, that's got the longest lasting reward, because it's not just another shiny star. Yes, we absolutely say go for the big dream, still do that. But who are you really as you do that? Are you someone that can look yourself in the mirror and feel freaking amazing about yourself?
Mhm. Yeah, a lot too many people can do that actually. Like, the people put on this appearance when they're out, and you know what? Fake it till you make it. That's absolutely fine. But the whole point of life, in my view, is to be happy,
Yeah.
right?
Who are
And
you
to
behind
feel good.
closed doors? Like who are you when no one's watching? And do you have the integrity with yourself to
Mhm.
hold yourself to those standards?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, exactly. And so, can you give us an example of a recent success story that you had with a client?
So so we had a client, she came in probably a couple years ago, but she had really successful business. She was earning the most money she'd ever earned in her life. She had a family that she loved and adored, and on the surface and generally speaking, she was satisfied and nothing was really wrong in her life. But once she started doing our work, she started taking courageous action. She did things like take extra days off, which she never gave herself permission to take time off just because, right? If there wasn't a very good excuse, she never gave herself permission to just be. She was surrounded by so many men in her industry, and she was always in this masculine energy. She started finding communities that fueled her soul and helped her express her femininity within this masculine world. And she also, I think one of the big things is she really started feeling comfortable and confident with herself at an even deeper level. So what did this do? This led to more business growth. At one point, a little more business than she could handle, but then she was able to regulate, to navigate and bounce back even faster when things went wrong, to have that inner peace and be able to go to bed without having to stress or worry or freak out about things, because she knew there would always be a way, and she had that inner confidence that things would work out, so she didn't have to stress out or neglect her kids in order to show up for herself or her business. And so she was able to grow her business. She was able to pursue some of those bigger personal dreams within herself and her family life that she just didn't give herself permission to before.
That's amazing. Well, look, you're inspiring me just by being on this call right now. So I so much look forward to your presentation on the 29th. So thanks for coming on the show today, Larissa. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. I can't wait